Hey guys, it's me again. I know, I've been on and off with the webcam for a while now, mainly because I'm trying to do more outlets and whatnot for Shoot From the Hip. For those of you who don't know, I do have a blog for Shoot From the Hip out. It's under the hubpages.com domain. That one is going to be focused mainly on pro wrestling and what's bugging me about the sport right now. This one, it'll just be random topics from now on for this version of Shoot From the Hip. And today, this topic is going to be about lighting a fire under the ass of people who need it and what this world is coming to. You know, first, I actually want to give props to a person that I really have butted heads with a lot over the last year and a half, I guess you could say. Last couple weeks, I have been given the opportunity to actually be a quote unquote guest commentator on a local sports show from the radio station I work at. And the guy's been asking me a lot of questions about the end of the NASCAR season, where the NHL lockout is going and whatnot. And I'm actually happy, and I thank the guy. I mean, yeah, we butted heads, but he's actually come to realize that, hey, this guy is very valuable. He knows his stuff, and he's good at what he does. And it's one of the things where I gotta give props to him because, hey, at least somebody is trying to do something with me. At least somebody is seeing the experience that I have. And with that being said, I'm transitioning into lighting a fire under the ass of people who need it. And like I mentioned with that guy, at least Mike has seen, hey, this kid has talent. I'm going to try to use him as much as I could. And he's given me the opportunity to once again get back on the air, albeit in a commentator type position, discussing happenings and news going on in my favorite sports, which is cool. But what worse comes to worse, I'm going to backtrack a little bit to one of my last video blogs I did. Now, most of you may remember how I was complaining about, correction, I wasn't complaining, I was basically making a statement and making my case clear about the news director we have at that station and the issues he was causing, the trouble he was causing. Well, flash forward to last week. Last week, there was a bombshell was dropped on us, and of course, I was the last to know. That guy is up, gone, packed, and moved to Canada. Why? Because he's going to try to start his own Christian radio station. And I laugh at that because I have a feeling it's not going to go over well, especially, Canada we're talking about. They're not the most religious people in the world. I'm sorry if I offend any of you Canadians out there, but it's the truth. However, getting back to that story. He's gone, and there is a bunch of positions that are pretty much up in the air, floating around, need I remind you. Well, I was informed by our program director, and this is me trying to do a very horrible impersonation of him. Leon, I wish you would get more production experience because I wanted you to have this position. I'm laughing at that one, folks, because anybody who knows me and knows my experience, knows my past history, knows what I've done, obviously knows what I am capable of doing. And this is just the perfect proof that this place obviously doesn't pay attention, or if they do, the memory term is short span. They went and they hired a guy to fill the position who, interesting story, worked for them about 8 years ago, 9 years ago, and he decided to up and quit after 5 weeks of working there. He didn't just, say, hey, here are my 2 weeks, I'm gone, or I really don't like this position, I don't think I'm fit for it. But this guy, he was a program director, a marketing person, or whatever, and he just up and walked out and never showed up. Come to find out, he's now one of the producers, one of the program directors for a local television station that's kind of semi-public access, but they kind of show, like, I don't know, consider it to be like a My Network TV type of deal. Hold on one sec. And getting back to what I'm saying, they want to put that guy in that position. But it's fine and dandy. I'm down with it. However, what I'm not down with, what I'm not really too keen on, is that the program director, who I am semi-close to, a guy that helped me do what I'm doing, hired me. I thank the guy for hiring me, and it's an experience I'm never going to forget. However, to say, well, I wish you would have more experience, but you don't, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Because, alright, let me backtrack. Alright, my resume is as follows. I have interned at 4 different places, 3 radio stations, 1 TV station. All 4 of those stations I have worked on production in one way or the other. I had an internship in high school which was 20% production, 80% on air. Alright, that helps me out right there. Next internship I did, let's just throw this out there. I got to work with the program director. I got to edit the playlist. I got to produce a lot of the spots and make them sound picture perfect. Do you notice a trend there? 2 places I've interned at, 2 places with production. Alright, 3rd place I interned at, another radio station. Worked on promotions and production there, but unfortunately it was 5% promotions, 95% production, because at that place, let's face it, the station manager for that place would rather have his promotions team be young teenage college girls with big hooters. Alright, perfectly understandable, but once again, 3 places I've interned at, 3 places that I've done production at. The TV station, I got to produce a live television show that was broadcast daily. I had to call the guests, I had to fit the segments in. Then I also got to work behind the scenes and work on the website. I also got to work on, hooking customers up with gifts and calling them back with their concerns. Once again, 4 places, 4 production things. Seems to me I got a lot of good experience with production right there. You know what I mean? Also, taking the fact that I did on air at one of those internships when I was in high school. That was a year and a half right there, on and off. Then throw in the fact that 5 of the 6 years I was in college, I was on the air too. I got a lot of on-air experience, and for somebody to sit there, and a lot of production experience, but for somebody to sit there and stand there and tell me, oh, you don't have the correct amount of experience, you don't have the experience necessary, is complete and utter bullshit. It's a lie, And then you throw in the fact that when I was at my last on-air experience in college, at the glorious Madai, which I kill for, I love that place dearly. Take a look that I was the assistant to the station manager, I was the assistant to the news director, the program director, and I was also the technical guy who engineered a lot of the stuff and put the playlist in for the automation, and I set the new equipment up. That gives me a huge fucking chunk of stuff right there. So for somebody to sit there and say, I don't have the experience, I don't have the right production skills, bam, bam, bam. That's what I gotta say to you, motherfucker. And while we're on the subject, lit a fire under the ass of some people there too, because word got out that I really wasn't happy, and he apparently found out about something and had the nerve to call me Tuesday and accuse me, and it's like, okay, I don't know what the operations manager heard or what he said, but although it's a little frustrating, I never called you guys this or that or anything else. And he's over here telling me, oh, well, we've given you opportunity and you've passed it by. You've turned it down. Wait a minute. Hold the phone right there. I've turned down opportunity? Alright. I'm the one who came in the first day I started there. You asked me what I wanted to do, and I told you I want to get into the production side of things. I also want to be on the air because I have all the experience right there. And you looked at me and you said, oh, well, that was college. That doesn't mean a damn thing here. Well, for somebody who's been doing this for close to 10 fucking years? Yeah, it does, buddy, okay? It's saying that I have a lot of experience, especially when you got 45 years experience yourself. Then you claim that you've given me opportunity. The only opportunity I've ever gotten there was to work on adding some stuff into the daily playlist, a couple audio bits, and you guys took that away from me because, hey, we can download it off of this computer instead of that one, so we don't need to have you produce that. Not to mention, you sit there, you give me weather spots to do for the weekend, and what do? You don't schedule them in, so I have to add them in because some jackoff doesn't know how to put them in the fucking playlist? Alright? And then to say that I've gotten opportunity, really, the opportunity to record commercials, you've never asked me to do. You've never asked me to do an air check. You never asked me to do a voiceover for anything. You hire people to do voiceovers that quit on you a month later, but you don't take advantage of what you got. What kind of a place do you run anyway? What kind of place do you work for? You know, I have a lot of experience on my resume, and you sit there, you thumb your nose at it because you'd rather hire an outsider who's in his 40s or a guy that used to work for you that bailed on you for just for the hell of it because he couldn't stand you. But yet you got this person with a chock full of nuts resume, guy with the experience, the guy that can take this level of a radio station, small town independent, a guy that can pretty much bring it up to a level where maybe some sort of conglomerate will want to buy it, or maybe to make it a talked about happening place. And you'd rather just have him sit behind a board, push buttons, fix a playlist because you're too lazy to fix it yourself, have a person co-produce some shows that are live shows, but yet you don't want to elevate this talent. And I gotta bring it in because, in a way, it sounds like this. It's pretty much the same thing that happened with, going for my wrestling fans here, WCW back in the day. You know, you got this talent right here at the lower bottom who's been working their balls off, who's been doing this for years, good at their craft, knows what they're doing, and you'd rather just keep them here than bring them all the way up here just because you think it's better to bring somebody back into the mix, or it's better to not move them at all because, oh, well, if we don't have this, we won't have that position filled. You know, it's something that's ridiculous. It makes me question, do people really focus on resumes? Do they really pay attention? Do they look at these resumes and go, alright, that's good. You know, and I'm doing this for a topic. I'm doing this for a blog, for a video blog, not because I want to boost my ego, not because I'm on an ego trip, not because I just want to blab. I'm doing this because I'm trying to bring up a point, folks. I'm trying to show that you got a hard worker right here. You're looking at him. Person who has been busting his balls off everywhere he's put. Never complains, never does, anything to get his nose out of joint. The guy who just works at the grindstone. The guy who busts his fucking nuts off. It never gets the respect he deserves, never gets the long way of promotion that he should be getting, never getting the opportunities that people should be giving him. And when they get brought up, when I try to bring stuff up, it's always, oh, or even better yet, oh, we'll get back to you on that one. A month later, another month later, another month later. Hey, so what's going on with that? Oh, yeah, we'll get back to you. A month later. You get the point. And the one thing that's really getting me frustrated about this one, like I said, there are a few positions up in the air. One of them, of course, dealing with the playlists and doing all the production and technical stuff, seeing that I'm a person who knows his computer skills, knows working with Microsoft Office daily, person who has to fix everybody else's fuck-ups over there, Another position, which, by the way, was a position I was going to be offered last year, but of course, Mr. Religious News Director's wife got the position. She screwed up majorly, yet they still kept her there. Of course, she's going to be leaving too soon, and all I hear is, well, if you know somebody with computer skills and somebody who's good at working in an office, let us know. When you were the one that pushed for me to get that last year and it never happened, to not get behind your faithful, to not get behind a person that can bring you to the next stratosphere, once again, shock to the system, screwed up, beyond anything. If you know what I'm going for, folks, it's basically plain simple as this. If you're an employer, and yes, I know people go, oh my God, you don't post this, you don't post that. But if you're an employer, take a look at your resumes, because you could be hiring the wrong person. You could have a person who is totally skilled, and you'll pass them by because you'd rather bring somebody back into the mix that's just going to stab a knife in your company and walk away again. Then you're going to be up shit creek, and then you're going to be like, all right, what do we do now? And the other point I'm trying to make is, take a look at what you got. Take a look at the hand you hold, the cards you hold in your hand, the full deck you have. There might be somebody there that knows what they're doing. There might be somebody there that knows exactly what it takes to get the job done, and the person that can get the job done. And if it's too late, that person might be out the door. You know, the last week, I've had several thoughts of saying, you know what, you guys aren't using me to my proper potential. Fuck you, I'm gone. But because I am a hard worker, I do what I do. You know, I work because I know eventually I'm going to get noticed, and it's going to be a sweet payoff. And so far, with Mr. Mike giving me that opportunity on the air, not to mention the station manager walking in yesterday, and he actually heard me on the air and nodded his head in appraisal, it goes to show one person sees the potential, one person sees the it factor is there. But now, the next question will arise. When is everybody else gonna lay off the coffee, clear the smoke from their eyes, and realize that the master is here, the it factor for radio, the saving grace of a falling industry is going to be there. I'm LR Adams, and like you already know, I shoot from the hip. See ya.